Hello, everyone that may be joining in right now, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or if you're in Texas, it would be 6 p.m. Central Time. If you overseas or wherever you may be, you can also catch these broadcasts, this particular interview in particular, on YouTube, on rebroadcast. You can catch it on Twitter as well as Facebook and Pinterest. And we appreciate you chiming in, whether it's right now or if it's at a later date. This is going to be a wonderful show. Listen, this gentleman I'm about to introduce is one of my homies from Dayton, Ohio. He is a walking legend, and that is the reason why I want to give him his flowers while he's here. He attended the prestigious Dunbar High School in Dayton, Ohio. Okay. When individuals from Dayton travel across the country, and I'm quite sure Coach will attest to this, when you mention that name Dunbar, it means something. Okay. A lot of people don't know that Paul Laurence Dunbar, first Black playwright, poet, was from Dayton, Ohio. All right. These schools are prestigiously named all across the country, but we're from Dayton, and he represented Dunbar in a wonderful way. He was a two-sport star. He may even play more than two sports, but I competed against him as a sophomore, fortunately, when he was playing basketball. I dressed varsity as a sophomore in football, didn't get to play against him. But he had a phenomenal basketball career, a point guard that was so canny with the basketball, had crazy handles, great leadership skills and ability. And you see how that translated to the football field on the gridiron, where Johnnie was a quarterback. I mean, extraordinaire, okay? He ended up going on to college, Texas Southern University Tigers. And we're going to get into a little bit about his playing days and his career and where he's coached at, okay? Let me give you a little bit more introduction on him, okay? He is also the winningest coach within a 2-year period, percentage-wise, in Texas Southern history, all right? He also has been coaching, are you ready for this, for a phenomenal 42 years. I know, right? I'm giving my age up now. 42 years he's been coaching. I mean, that's all HBCU experience. That's incredible, okay? Listen, y'all, would y'all please help me welcome the one and only to the show, straight from the source, Coach Johnnie Cole. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good. I got a little with my man, my son, the last one bringing up the rear, and it's important, that my family. I'm the youngest of 9 boys, and that's what I know.
I'm so glad that he came up because I'm gonna tell you something. It's just like I'm giving you my flowers now. Although you live on right now as the coach and keeping that Cole name rolling, now we know we got something to look for in the future.
Yeah, well, he's more on the academic side right now.
Okay.
I'm actually in a academy for performing arts and dual language and Chinese and Spanish, right? But family means a lot to me. I think a lot of my success was built off of that. I knew that I could get out and try anything and take that first foot forward because I always knew that I could come home. And they know I'm Ohio, and the people that I've crossed, yourself and along with a lot of my schoolmates, means a whole lot to me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. And thanks for chiming in. I'm going to call everybody, call me Unc. That's another one of my little nephews right now. Appreciate you bringing him on the show. Listen, Coach, just want to get right into it because I know your time is valuable. Listen, I know you're going back home soon. You're going to be having a 1981 class reunion. Can you speak a little bit about that before we get started? We just chopping it up. Just how's that feeling to you to get back?
Last time I was home, C. Johnson and the crew, they threw something together real quick because I was headed up to the Black College Hall of Fame game, and
Mhm.
and I told them I'm gonna have a chance to come back because of our class reunion. So they supposed to be throwing some on Saturday, 4 o'clock to 10, a day party. But most of all, I get to come home and see Mama, eat some
Yeah.
mama. I get to come home and see all of my 8 brothers. They all coming. One's come from Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, Chicago, and just get to come home, man, and just relax. See my little sister Sybil, and enjoy Dayton and enjoy going up and down Germantown and Third Street and all the good old times. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I can't say enough. My good friend Mike Worthy, he's been
Yes.
spearheading day party along with my other partner Tippy Dotson, and just looking
Yes.
forward to my classmates. Mike Paynes, Jeff, Regina Bennett, Vonda Ford, Tina Johnson. I can't. James Lackey. All those good guys.
Man, they love it when you give them shout outs, coach. And I know you can't remember everybody right now, but I tell you what, for those, I tell you, that Dunbar, one thing about it, I tell you, they've been stepping up for you. I mean, when I said Johnnie was gonna be here, oh my gosh, Johnnie Cole, Johnnie Cole. It was just like you was the homecoming king again, you
Yeah,
know?
well, I don't know that guy, but I know this one is, very humble. Um,
Yeah,
Please, I tried to be the best student mate or classmate I could be. I try to be the best father I can be, son, as well as brother and well as coach, man. And just been blessed with a lot of great people around me. I had great coaches, Coach
yes.
Coach Gates, Coach Clark, Coach
Mhm.
Clean. When I was coming through, you know, uh, Principal Love, them guys just really. Donald Winborn, I forgot about saying him. Chris Johnson,
Mhm.
quarterback with my older brother, came out, really took me under his arms, and I just can't say enough of my classmates who challenged me to be the best. So
Yes.
uh, you know they helped build that man.
Absolutely. Now, can you elaborate? We just gonna take it all the way from high school and just start right there and work our way up. When you were at Dunbar, did you know that you were going to choose football over basketball, or did you have opportunities to attend college? And I know you ended up playing both sports anyway, but did you have opportunity for scholarship in both sports?
No, I really, the crazy part about it is I had a scholarship to Western Illinois, uh,
Mhm.
uh, Evanville College, Central State, and then Texas Southern came in. And I know this sounds crazy. When you're young, you're so egotistical. Man, I wanted to get so far away from Dayton as possible. Because I've
Yes.
had come behind all these quote unquote successful brothers. Uh,
Right.
Brother Norris played football, Brother Tip, all of them played football. All of us played Dunbar from 1964 to 1981. And, it was tough. Some of the students, it was tough on me because, every achievement I've made, it was, oh, it's just because of your brother. I've been I've got the principal award at every level. I got, I won the pass shooting contest, sixth, seventh, eighth grade. Just very successful because I was
Yes.
for my time because I've had 8 coaches, including my mom, 9 coaches, and
Yeah.
um, uh, so I chose Texas Southern to get away, to say I could do it. And I guess that's where I get my competitive attitude from.
Mm-hmm.
I work hard, I put the time in, and I deserve everything I got. So I got away. Now that I'm older, I wish I could have stayed around at home because it's very important. And so when I went to Texas Southern, I went on a football scholarship. And I got down there and I wasn't playing my first year. And believe me, David, when I got down there, I even wondered why did they recruit me? I'm 5'9", 140 pounds soaking wet. They had quarterbacks down there 6'3", 6'4", I mean, large linemen. Matter of fact, when I got there, one of the alumni said, I didn't know they recruit managers,
Mm-hmm.
and that stuck me hard. But the staff, the
Mm-hmm.
coach staff that brought me down there knew my pedigree. They
Yes.
they have coached my brothers, so they knew my pedigree, and that kind of got me going, lifting weights. Again, my first year I just said, my second year I redshirted. My second year I was the holder. Well, those
Mm-hmm.
in those I was playing intramural basketball, and I
Mm-hmm.
was I was I was putting in work, and the coach had me to come by and see the intramural. Me putting in work, and everybody on campus was, dang man, this dude throwing in 20, 30 a night. And I mean, he doing his due. And the assistant coach came and asked me would I consider playing basketball. And so I ended up walking on. I can remember I came out the football season and they was in the basketball season. Matter of fact, they were starting to play that week. And I came out like that Monday and I caught on so fast. Shoot, man, coach threw me a jersey and a uniform. And that Friday, I not only was on the team, hell, he even put me in the game. And they was running some of the same stuff I did at Dunbar. Rotation, running rotation, going down,
Mm-hmm.
picking across, coming back up to the top of the elbow. It's the same system. And I was great on defense. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Gates and Dutch Collins, man, talk about help side, ball side, closing out
Yeah.
right. So, I knew the game. I love basketball really more than I love football. And
Okay.
so I was able to bridge the gap, the learning gap, and really jump right in. And the rest was history. I went on to play for the next 4 years, both sports. Where I actually started both sports when I got to my junior and senior year.
Well, you were slippery, in terms of your size. It actually worked, in my opinion, to your advantage because you were slippery, you were elusive, and you had an arm, a rifle. So that's all that matters when you're playing football. And obviously, you had that toughness, coach. Somewhere, even though when you felt hurt by them saying, "Oh, look, who they bring a manager here," it
Right.
somehow it fueled you. You went down there and said, "Wait, I'm gonna show you what I got in the murals." And they start saying, "Well, this guy, I know why we bring. He's an athlete, And then the rest is history.
Well, the funny part about it is that not only, they used to call me Interception Joe, and I
Yeah.
hate first to say, I had to learn a lot to learn. I had to get my body strong, so I had to work extra. But I not only went on to start at quarterback, I went on to break all the school records, seasonal records. And then, of course, as you know, I came back and been the head coach there and took them to the only championship in 80 years of football. So, and see, I used to live on campus because, coming from a large family, living down in Houston, Texas, and you get that week off the half over Christmas. But if you
Mhm.
play basketball, you playing during them times. So I used to be
Yes.
the only kid on campus, so the president knew what was going on, the dorm director, the coaches, and they used to make sure that I ate and one of them would come by and pick me up or, if I didn't have something to do. So the university made a commitment to me as well.
Wow. I appreciate you sharing that. Now, when you look at your career and you said you felt, I want you to elaborate a little bit more about what it's like being in a household with 9 brothers. Okay. And even just getting the opportunity to go to the bathroom must have been interesting. You
Well,
know?
it wasn't no personal space. Some people say, "Oh, you got to learn boundaries." Well, you didn't have no boundaries. You have to learn how to
Mhm.
get along. And some kids are being raised by themselves, like this one. That I got to teach about sharing. Teaching about
Yeah.
blessing. You know, uh,
Yes.
if and my thing I say to anybody, any young kid, any older person that thinks that the world is crashing in, I said, when you feel that just getting up in the morning and I got my health, it's not raining on my head, if I don't have a car, I got access to the car, if and access to food. If that ain't enough for you, then yeah, something is wrong with you. If you think that, you hear people, well, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Yes, you are. You are.
Yes.
If you don't understand that everybody got problems, everybody
Yes.
got, you can have 9 toilets,
Yeah.
9 bathrooms, 5, 6 bedrooms. You still gonna have some issues and problems. That's just how the world is. That's just how life is. So that's how it was in our household. You know, it wasn't no boundaries. I mean, it'd be three of us around the toilet, and maybe two in taking a shower, and one over the sink brushing his teeth.
Yeah.
So also taught us how to love each other. Our parents was not strict on us leaving and going. They were strict on us making sure that we loved each other and cared about each other. And that was it. And education. That's all them two didn't have. My mother and father didn't have. They got a high school GED. But they knew that I don't care what you say, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna do right in school, and you're gonna move on to college.
Wow. Appreciate you sharing that. Listen, the success story and what Coach Cole is speaking of, guys, if you're listening out there, young kids, athletes, coaches, fans, if you grow up in a big household with a lot of brothers or sisters and different things like that, just love on them. If that's what I'm telling you, just listen to what he's saying. You accept the situation. Don't be fighting with your brothers and sisters about things. It's y'all blood, okay? And what happens is, as an end result of that love that the Cole family had for one another, instead of bickering. Okay, we could have heard about this being a large family that didn't get along, but no, we don't hear that. These Coles are loving in their blood. And because of the simple fact of what Coach went through. And he said, well, I had to leave. I want to go out of state. A lot of athletes from Dayton leave and go away, and it's good for them. Some stay in state, and it happens to be a good course of action for them. But I guess the message here is family love, and that's what it's all about. And that's what he represents in his coaching and his philosophies.
Well,
Coach, you left and you started, well, let me go to here, 2005 to 2007. Just going to briefly want to make sure that I mention this. You were successful at Lane College. And then you went over from 2008 to 2010. I mean, listen, Texas Southern, and no disrespect in any type of way, but they have not been as successful since your tenure
yeah,
at all. I
they
mean, in the history,
yeah,
those 2 years, I'm
mm,
gonna let you elaborate.
yeah. No, the record is about 27 and about 80, 27 wins and about 80 losses. Uh, you know, I love my school. Unfortunately, we a perennial losing program, and I know why. You gotta love your history before you know where you're going. And
Yes,
hard time loving our alumni and reaching out to them. I try to tell them that people give money to people. They don't give money to buildings.
yes,
Got to have relationships, and that's one of the biggest issues we have at Texas Southern is making sure that we understand our history. And until we do that, we're gonna always be starting over. You know, uh, and that's one of the things. when you talk about Paul Lawrence Dunbar being, probably the only black school there in Dayton, Ohio, and
Yes.
still strong, and why, it's where it is today because we remember our history, you know,
Yes.
we stand proud for that, and
Yes.
matter of fact, where I work at now, there's a Dunbar there as well in Fort Worth, and then there's another one out in Washington D.C., which is the first, and Dunbar and Dayton really is the second. I kind of found out through my travels. Uh,
Yes.
but even when we got into it, when me and my brothers them got into it, our mothers, you know, they weren't there, also, there to whoop, but then they would make us hug each other, you
Yeah.
know, the arms around each other and hug each other, or sometimes sit down by each other. And we knew, shoot, man, if we gonna live in this house, I mean, we got to support, and it wasn't no jealousy. We were always excited about the next one, in support, making sure that we understood if he makes it, then we all make it.
Absolutely. And I just want to make sure everyone gets that message, especially the young people. That's what it's all about. Coach, let's take a moment here. Just want to thank Patricia Adams. She was a cheerleader at Fairview. She's chimed in that I can see. Rochester Roy Dixon, one of the best jump shooters in Dunbar history. He
Yes, sir.
just chimed in.
Yes, sir. Good
Dixie Wilson. What you gonna say about Rochester?
man. Rochester man just was a kid, man, that just wanted to be good. He
Yeah.
wanted to change his situation, and
Yes.
Ricky Gates wrapped his arm around him. I can't say nothing about Gates. And every time I would come back, I would see that kid mature, and his success doesn't surprise me. And I'm looking forward to you. Better be there on Saturday, Rochester. I'm looking forward to just give him a big hug.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you sharing that, Coach. Clarence Chicken Darden just chimed in. He said he played against you, Lyle, Durrell, and Steve.
Hey, we used to whoop him up in the neighborhood. He never won in the neighborhood. Never. We was on the middle of Dunbar, Randolph, and man, look, hey, them was used to be the days.
That was the day.
Yeah, there was the days. We get in there and play that football in the neighborhood, and we didn't need no help. See
Right.
they didn't know, David. We worked on plays in the house.
Right.
They were just meeting up every day. We be in the house back days, and I'm telling you, man, we used to go to the boys club, and that's another thing. I can't say enough about at that time they had a programs that actually help not
Yeah.
just all the kids coming out of the soda baths and taught us so many skills, wood shop, art, library, swim,
Mhm.
football, basketball, you know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
we were just so skilled then, but when we used to get in that gym and the Cold Boys had the next, and we didn't need nobody. We had a 5. If we wanted to play basketball, we had a 9. If we wanted to play softball, you know, we didn't need no help. So we had the sometimes the whole soda bass cheering against us.
Wow. Wow. But see, you know what, Coach? That's the reason why I'm calling you coach today, because I remember that we used to all get together. We would play. This was before AAU or a lot of the traveling grassroots gridiron football, and we
Right.
would go neighborhood to neighborhood and park to park, and we would set up and play. But you guys was in there sketching. The Coles was sketching up plays while we was just meeting down there, ready to rumble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
You know,
got to have a plan.
yeah, and one of the things besides that, because I knew the game, that's has got me where I was. I was way up because of coming behind them. You gotta understand when my oldest brother went there as a freshman in '64. I had
Mhm.
1 years old. By the time I was 6, I was going up to there cleaning their cleats out, with sticks. You know, when they come on the sideline and I'm in there, then I got the chance to see how they tape ankles. You know, and then as I got up into middle school, I was able to travel on the bus when they would go to Cincinnati Hughes and these places. So I've been around the game so long and so much that it's been just instilled in me.
Wow. Wow.
You know.
Just incredible, man. Just sharing with you and hearing these stories and reminiscing. Listen, you know what they calling you. You know, I don't know what all kind of music you listen to. I listen to a little bit of everything from gospel, rap, R&B. They calling you basically the original J. Cole. There's a rapper called J. Cole.
Yeah.
Everybody, no, this the original J. Cole right here.
You know, when my brothers, I know they keep me sometimes, because I grew up in a little faster time than they did. You know,
Mhm.
I probably was the only Cole that could dance. You know, so my brother them used to take me, over their girlfriend's house, and I would do my dance, and oh yeah, and then my other brother named Earl, he used to travel around when I was in those competitions, when I was in the pass shooting contest, and he would be up in the stands, uh, uh, you know, just cheering me on, you know what I mean, and talking crap and everything else. So he made sure that I got to all the contests.
Wow. Listen, I'm going to take a question from the fans right now for your comment. Rochester Dixon says, ask Coach about the bubblegum connection. You remember?
Yeah. Me and Lawrence Salter,
Oh, yeah.
at the boys club. He was the quarterback, and I was the wide receiver. Well, when we went to went to high school, he didn't play. And I became the quarterback. And I don't know if you know, I actually played JV. I didn't play freshman. I played one freshman game, and I threw like 5 touchdowns. And the JV quarterback got hurt, so I moved up to JV, and I
Okay.
played B. And by the time I got a chance to play varsity too as a freshman against Rolf, and then my sophomore year, our quarterback got hurt, and we strike. And then after strike, we came and I played quarterback, starting as a sophomore. We'll make a long story short, Salter was a track guy and a great friend of mine. Matter of fact, we great friends now. And I told him, I said, man, come on, man, we need your speed. We need your speed. And all of a sudden he came on out. And they used to call him Salt Nut.
Man,
And
Salt was incredible.
yeah, he could do it, man. And all of a sudden we start connecting, and our favorite route was running him on a down, out, and up. And let me tell you something, my arm wasn't that strong. When he went hit that out route and peeked back at me, oh, I knew to put it up. And he would run up underneath it. And we did such a great job. They started calling us the Bubblegum Connection, and it was great, playing against Leon Thompson,
Yes.
Chuck Taylor,
Yes.
boys, what a good friend of mine, Leonard. Man, I tell you, we got on the radio and started talking on WDAO, about playing Rolf, and they beat us. I better say that, because if I see Leon and those guys, McCray, they definitely gonna remind us. But the only thing I'm gonna say is they lucky it rained. They lucky it rained all day, and they kind of shut us down. But no, the bubblegum connection, that was my first time really getting a lot of PR from playing football.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that. I really appreciate you sharing that. I had Mike McCray on my show too, and Rolf High School and Dunbar legend, and he was on the show, Ohio State legend.
Yeah,
Had him on with his son actually, and the son doesn't give a lot of interviews, and I'm so proud of him because what he's doing now, he's been coaching. He was at Notre Dame. And just recently, I think he's at another college now, but he's really moving up the ladder. Shout out to the McCray family as well. Let's see, Coach, moving right along. Well, Chicken was going to basically say, how many times did he beat Raw? But you came in and said, I better say that they won the game. So,
yeah.
Chicken,
Well,
guess what? Coach kept it real.
and in the year before that, now we beat them over there for the city championship, and I'm the one who hit the free throws to put it away. So I was able to redeem myself. You know, uh, I got on my junior year playing ball, and we beat them out at the arena.
Wow. Now, gentleman by the name of Wayne Mills
Okay.
used to play ball for Mississippi Valley State. You remember Wayne? He said he ran into you a couple times in his his basketball travels.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Ain't no question. I mean, I met so many guys in my journey, playing basketball and then playing football. And in basketball, you go to everybody's campus, because you play
Yes.
twice. So I was constantly traveling, coming off the football field and then coming to, and so when I would get to those different schools and they've known me from playing quarterback, on the football team,
Mm-hmm.
see those guys after the game and, with Willie Todd and Jerry Rice. And, my senior year, I was on the SWAC tour where they take two of the top players off of each team and they put us on the bus, and so I got an opportunity to personally have personal conversations with Eddie Robinson, Marino Cassim, W.C. Gordon, all these great coaches and just hear their stories. It was historical to me. It's stuff that I won't ever let go, about, and it helped shape me and shape my coaching ways, and just to sit there with the great Eddie Robinson and hear them stories and Benny Thompson from Grambling, Leonard Griffin. I just, I knew Victor Hall from Jackson State, Jackie Walker, like I said, Willie Todd and Jerry Rice. I was able to rub shoulders with all those guys.
That
And
was,
hey,
just by us kicking it like this, you'll end up going into some of my questions. And that was going to be one. Name some of the people that you've met in your HBCU 42 years now journey. And I definitely had Eddie Robinson in there. And I had, because he's just known as the GOAT. And I had Doug Williams in there. And then you've named others. I also wanted to ask you, would you happen to have a relationship with someone that was on my show that I'm developing a real good friendship with by the name of Charlie Neal? He's the voice of HBCU football and basketball.
Charlie Neal's a good friend of mine. I got his personal number. Matter of fact, we were together at the Black College Hall of Fame. Doug Williams, I have his straight number. He's a great one. Uh, uh, I can't say Michael Strahan. I coach
Yes,
Michael Strahan. Of course, everybody know he's a man that's been to the moon. I just got great relationships in the football world. I'm very respected, around this country,
yeah,
when football and being a gentleman and representing Dayton, Ohio. Martin Bayless, I had a chance, coming from my homeboy, out in San
yeah,
Diego, been able to hang out with him there. It's just so many great athletes that and great people
yeah.
that I only, Andrew Young, when he came to visit Texas Southern, I was able to hang out with him. Thomas Hitman Hearns, I played in his All-Star game. He had the Black College All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
Traveled from playing in Houston down to Baton Rouge. Matter of fact, at the time, we looked so alike, that they people used to think I was Thomas Hearns. You know,
Okay.
Matter of fact, he even said himself. He said, if somebody look like me, you look like me. I don't know if you know about Coach Wales. He used to be a big recruiter for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just so many, Mean Joe Green, Lionel Taylor, uh, just Frank Lewis played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Matter of fact,
Yes.
the coach that coached me played pro ball, and when the Steelers won those 4 Super Bowls, really the basics of
Mm-hmm.
what I do. I'm an offensive coordinator. So those days, Jefferson Street Joe Gillum. He worked for me at Texas Southern,
Ah,
and dealt with him when he was dealing with his personal stuff. His
yes.
I'm very good friends with the family, the Gillum family. So, you know, I've had a tremendous career and met a lot of great people.
And then also, even in your closer, just coaching circle there too. Let me see. I think I have a few other people that I'd be remiss if we didn't shout out because you can't remember everybody. Coach Rick Comagese, you
Yes.
know. Let me see who else. There's
Pete Richardson.
Pete
Uh, yeah,
Richardson. I've
coach,
got him in
coach,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
coached me in high school, and I was able to come in, and he got me into the SWAC. Well, I came from Texas Southern, but coached the national championship with him. You
What
know,
about Coach Billy Joe?
Coach Billy Joe was on my show. I do a podcast every Monday at 12. It's called the HBCU Stroll with the coach. And it goes from 12 to 1. Billy Joe, yeah, it's one. Like I said, Willie Totten, Rich Freeman down at the head coach in Morehouse. So yeah, I've had some great ones, got some good people that can vouch for me.
Wow, man, I appreciate you sharing. This is fun. This is great knowledge. Listen, like I said again, you went into. I was gonna get into your podcast when we was getting near the end, but you changed the name then, Coach, because I have you down as the lunch break.
Well, what happened was
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Johnson, who's my producer, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I was a head coach. One day he stopped me, and I was on my way of doing something, but I believe that anytime somebody give you an opportunity to display your talents or show you should take time out, and
Yeah.
that's done. And 10 years later, we on LinkedIn kind of going back and forth, and I really didn't remember, and then he made me remember, and he brought me on the show. So we started. It was the lunch break,
Yeah.
and started getting so much traffic. He said, Cole, this your show, man. It's time for you to branch out and do your own thing. And he's moved up. He's actually my show now is a show. It ain't a podcast because
Wow.
it's live and it's on
Wow.
Roku TV, Fire TV, YouTube, and it's even growing bigger. And he gave me enough courage, to push me out there and say, hey, man, this is your show. We're going to change it. It's no more the lunch break. It's your show. It's called the HBC Stroll with the coach. And, I've been blessed that way, and it has been picking up. It's talking and speaking about unfairness of what's going on in college football, the unfairness to black college coaches.
Well, I'm definitely gonna hit that before we get out of here. You
Oh,
already know, Coach.
because it's just such a disparity, and it just ain't right, and it just ain't fair.
No. Let's take another fan check over here. We have Flora Jean Anders chiming in, and she said, I'm going to go ahead and read everything she's got here. It's pretty big. She says, y'all daddy and mama, Cole, were no joke. The white hung so tough with Norris, he sucked. He sucked up y'all's father and Tim like a all-day sucker. He and Willie still gives your pops slash moms top props for raising so many dedicated sons. We watched your career and the other Cole success stories like First Cousins.
Right.
What was your parents' reaction to your success and your challenges as a player and a coach?
When I come home, boy, go sit down. I'm making these greens, you know, and have you been to church, and are you reading your Bible? My mom always, they just never made any big thing about that. It was more of us just being good people. I can remember I got cut, and I came home crying, and my mama says, "What's wrong?" And my neighbor who was shorter than me, he made the team, named Randall Scott,
Mm-hmm.
and the coach cut me named Dan. I'm like, Mama, I know I'm good. She said, boy, sit down. Maybe you just wasn't good enough. Just next year, you go out for the team, you're going to be okay, And pretty much that was it. But, they just taught us about they were just so concerned that we were good people, you
Yeah.
know, and they showed that by my mom would. How can you cook for 11 people? We lived in a duplex. Nobody lived on the other side because nobody couldn't keep up with the noise. Uh, you had 3-bedroom duplex, and my mama could cook for us. Get up early enough to go down to Mr. Francois' house and change the sheets. We kept Miss Ann's two daughters, Sybil and Dee Dee, and Miss Margaret and the lady around the corner. And she would take care of there and then be able to come home and still uh, take care of us as well, man. I mean, those two people was touched by God. They were the Michael Jordan to me. You know what I mean? My mom, I call her Steven Spielberg. We would get up in the morning on Sunday and you had to
Mhm.
dress 9 men, 10 with my dad, and then she would have to get dressed. So she would get up before we got up, took her shower and everything. She had a system, production, man, and
Mm.
put us in the car. And I knew as a young kid, I might as well wait on mama to get in. Because, of course, she had her seat in the front. Because I was going to be in the middle no matter what. So we all knew our places, you know what I mean? And she
Yeah.
could front seat and reach all the way back and slap you or snatch the gum out your mouth, So, and we were all haircut, clean, clothes was clean, and just can't say enough. And as far as the Williams family, man, Dwight, quarterback number 10, his booty used to stick out and he get around the scramble. Man, I used to love it. And Willie interception Williams, man, and Frank was the worst dressing upperclassman I ever seen. But you couldn't tell him that. But no, we love the Williams family, Norris and Dwight. They go way back, and I was there to watch all this. Man, I know story. We could talk all night about
Yeah.
stories about each one of my brothers, each one of their partners, each one of their girlfriends. Because David, sometimes mom wouldn't let them go unless I was on the handlebars. You know,
Wow.
so I was exposed to goodness,
Appreciate that. And goodness definitely came out. Now, this is what I want to do. I've been doing a lot of posts, as you're aware of, and listing some of my players. And people been like, well, why this player ain't here or this one? Or I know I should be there. And I'm just letting people know this is my opinion only. This is my way of showing love and homage. So I wanted to just take personally, give you a second, if you don't mind. I wanted to read my dedication to you. All right. Johnnie Cole, Dunbar, 5'11" point guard. Listen, when you are a Cole, and I could have just put quarterback on that too, but I'll get to that. Johnnie Cole, Dunbar, 5'11" point guard. Listen, when you are a Cole, you're going to be good, period. Johnnie was a two-way star in basketball and football. I remember going up against him as a sophomore in 1981. I remember he was not big, but often he was the best player on the court. He was a dynamic leader, a winner on the court, and he was a dynamic leader and a winner. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. He was a dynamic leader, a winner, and he later became a Division I football star and head coach at Texas Southern, amongst others. Today, coach is still trying to help kids learn about the game of football. Please, my Dunbar Wolverine family, help me salute Coach Johnnie Cole. So I just wanted to make sure that, just give you your love, man, on that. We got a lot more articles and things coming out. I'm going to do an all-time Dunbar. I know this is going to really make an uproar. I'm going to need somebody. This is going to be my list, Dunbar Wolverine family, okay? It's going to be my top 20 that ever came out of Dunbar. Ooh, that's going to be hard, Johnny, because I'm being just football and basketball. I'm going to combine 20 guys. It's going to be, because
Well,
you You
Well,
going back, you talking
yeah.
Cash and Higgins and I mean, it's just so many.
Well,
It's
you
rough.
know about it is, it's almost like you got to make two lists
Yeah.
because, now that I'm a coach, it's more than the game. I know you don't know that, my undergrad was in civil engineering and I got a master's in curriculum instructions.
Mm.
Meant so much to me, and that was one of the things about Dunbar, before it opened up and they closed down schools and all of a sudden athletics it's in hand. I'm not saying athletics over academics or academics over athletics. It go hand in hand. So now that's what I do now for a living is, I'm over all the central site varsity facilities in the district of Fort Worth, which is 2 basketball arenas and 3 football stadiums. And as I look at those facilities, I look at them as classrooms, no different than the English classroom, the history classroom, because our kids got to be able to perform. And to
Yeah.
be able to perform, they need to be able to perform with the best, whether it's a pencil, whether it's a line on the field, whether it's a chalkboard, whether it's a locker room. We
Mhm.
provide the best for our children to perform. And if our expectations is the best, we need to make sure the facilities are the best as well. So in saying that, I know things kind of changed after I left, about the academic piece, and it disturbed me. It had disturbed
Mhm.
when I started hearing about Dunbar when it was going through its
Yeah.
channels. And I'm leading to this because my brother was involved. My brother Lyle was involved, and
Okay.
he wasn't hired to win basketball games. He was hired to slow things down. It's almost like Trump to Biden. Biden
Mm.
here to make America great again. Biden is to get the democracy back together in the United States.
Okay.
Don't look for him to do something remarkable because him just taking a job after America had turned to where it was turning, doing a job. And that's the same thing I say about my brother Lyle, because every place I've coached, I won championships.
Yes.
LC coach, he's won championships. My brother Stevie is a 3-time state finalist in 6A basketball in the state of Georgia. So a lot of our things that people say about us because of the coaching aspect, but all three of us, and I'm gonna include Lyle too, we believe in discipline. We believe in academics because
Yes.
take you farther, and that's the same thing my mother and father instilled in us, and we got away from that, at Dunbar. My brother called me and said, "Man, they just made a rule that you can have a 1.0 and play."
Oh my Lord.
Man, that saddened me. That saddened me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell my kids all the time, I don't care about the helmet. I care about what's up underneath the helmet. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can win championships and I can get raises and I'm eating steak and I don't push you towards graduating and then you graduate and move on back to the streets. I ain't done my job. So when you put that list together, I don't know, have some requirements on there. You know,
Okay.
let's look at some academics. See what
Absolutely.
you done once you left Dunbar. Maybe you could cut a couple because there's so many of them, so many
Yes.
traits. You know what I mean? Hell, just looking at Cash and them and Higgins and Gates, they starting 5 would be on that 5. Howard,
Well,
I mean,
that team is arguably, coach, that team that went all the way there and didn't win it. A lot of people don't know that team was, what was that, 1970? Was that the
1970.
That was the 1970 team.
Yeah.
That team is arguably the best high school team ever, up there with all the Roth Hall of Fame teams, with that Bill Hoskett 1960s team that everybody want to talk about may have been the best ever. I'm going to tell you right now, if you didn't see that Dunbar team, my brother coming out in 73, I was schooled on all of it. And
Yeah.
phenomenal,
And
phenomenal.
you gotta understand them times
Yeah.
times blacks couldn't go to PWI schools.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
And
absolutely right.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was real. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It was real. You know.
Yes. Let's get into this a little bit because I know we want to get into this a little bit about what's going on in the state. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen, fans, coaches, players. I'm trying to change the narrative with my recruiting service, helping basketball players and or football players at a level where you can change. I'm trying to change the narrative. You can go, right, to an HBCU. You can go to a junior college. You can go to a Christian school. You can go to a smaller NAI school. It doesn't have to always be a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution or a big name, okay? Now it's about the best fit, which it should have always been, and who's going to look out for you guys after your playing career and is going to look out for you while you're there doing your playing career. That's what it's all about. In saying that, Coach, I'm going to put it out as plain can be, and we're not here to bash anyone or to complain because that's not what we do. We're going to just keep moving along and be the best person that we can be. But I've got some facts here that I'm really concerned about. When you look at the HBCU and the MEAC, and you're looking at the SWAC, and you're looking at the CIAAs and all of these things, and I sent out all my fillers to the Miss Sandra Steele's commissioner, and like Charlie Neal. I know Charlie. Hope Charlie will get back in to see this. Everybody I know, Coach Cleo Hill over at Winston-Salem State University. How is it that you guys, as good as coaches as you are, there's only been one coach from HBCU in the last, 40, 50 years that's ever moved up to the Division I level? And they're only paying coaches hundreds of thousands of dollars versus millions at PWI institutions. Take over, Coach.
Well, it's been two coaches that HBCU, and it was one way back in the day I know about. But the two in my 40 years of being in HBCU is Willie Jeffries, left South Carolina State and went to Wichita State, which is Wichita State don't have football no more. And the other one was out of Alcorn State, but he was a white guy, and he was the first white guy to be a head coach in the SWAC, and he was able to move from Alcorn State to Southern Miss. And after that, it's not been any. There's 90 that out of all college sports, 90% of the athletic directors are white. So if 90% of the athletic directors are white, then the other 10% are where at? They're in black colleges.
Yes.
If we are 60 to 70% of the constituents, the players in basketball and in football, but then when you look at football, you only got 10 black coaches in all of FBS and football. It's so unfair, so uneven about coaches being in black college. Here's the kicker. Then when we do get a job, there were 14 black coaches in 2020. Mm-hmm. Out of those 14 black coaches, and you get to choose 9 coaches, how many of them you think chose 9 black coaches to coach with them? 0. How many of them? Let's talk about the coaches. How many of them do you think they had? And I'm gonna ask you that question. How many you think the average on those 14 black coaches, how many of them were black out of the 9 they potentially could hire?
1 or 2.
We started 4.
Wow.
One had 4, one had 3, and the rest of them had 2. That's unreal. That's unreal. We're so brainwashed, thinking that white ice is colder than black folks' ice. That we get those positions and feel, man, I can't let them think I'm prejudiced. Well, then they hire each other all day long. All you doing is hiring the right person. And that's the number one problem. You know, even though we get guys that get up there into the plantation White House, go out there and get a couple of them guys that's picking cotton and move them on in. Basketball, college basketball and college football is the cotton field.
Wow.
And it's sad to say it's like that today. And even though these big stars get on the television and start talking, none of them wants to talk about this problem. You know, that it's a systemic problem. And I don't even call it a racist problem. I'll call it an awareness problem.
Mm-hmm.
To say, how can we play the game and can't coach the game? How can we not come and coach our kids? Bruce Arrington with Tampa Bay. Most of his staff was black and won the Super Bowl. If that wasn't a door opening for us, I don't know what it is. I don't know what makes our black head coaches get in there and not bring nobody with them. They know it's a problem. When I got in the business in 1980, the coaching business, and we used to go to the coaching convention. And the coach he came to the BCA, which was the Black Coaches Association. He said, ain't none of y'all in here could get a job. You guys need to be out forming relationships. Well, but the problem there is, and he was right, but the problem is we don't help each other. We don't bring each other along. As great as a coach my brother is, being the only black coach to win an all-white conference 2 times in a row. Matter of fact, he's Washington, D.C., the National Alumni Museum is getting our team to, putting a place where people can come see us. You know, his reward for winning Ohio Valley Conference was getting another black job. When the other white coaches who win the Ohio Valley Conference, they get other jobs, other places, you know. So it's just so unfair. And then we're so brainwashed that we don't love each other. You know, we don't support each other. You know, even our parents are sending their kids off to PWI schools. They got black college degrees. They sending them, you know, and you know everything is on us. Like the devil cake is black. Well, they party all the time. Come on, David. When I went to school, we had some fun, but we ain't had no money to party. You know what I mean? We were still sneaking in the window to the dance. Man, leave the back door open. You know, it's just so unfair. And so here's the other thing. Back in 1936, Jesse Owens showed Germany the power of America. But then when he got back over to America, he got treated like a dog. Athletics has been the vehicle for African Americans. That's the only time that we can feel free. But here's where the black colleges went wrong at. They didn't support it. They let our stadiums go decay. They never put money away to build stadiums, and guess who was doing it?
Who?
Our was doing it. Because they knew one thing, they knew where the dollars were. And in the HBCUs, we want to shun athletics when athletics has been the vehicle for blacks all our lives. That's the only thing now is music.
But Coach, the athletic directors, what are they doing at these HBCUs? The presidents, we got to get that money.
They're not going and getting jobs at PWIs. They bouncing to another black school. They no different than black college coaches. And so on with the presidents. Ain't no black college president leaving no black college getting a head job at Ohio State. So why are we continue? Here, this is crazy, David. And then when we bring black guys from PWIs, he the running back coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here he is, the running back coach. But because he was at a white school, he can come back to a HBCU and be a head coach over a black college coach who have graduated from black school, have been an assistant coach, have been a coordinator, but then yet he's he's not qualified to be the head coach. So they get a running back coach somewhere, our head job, and he knows nothing about our university, our universities. So it's just so unfair, and it's so not right. And that's a part of my show is that I want to bring awareness because black folks pay state taxes, black
Yes.
pay federal taxes. So these universities that are getting these dollars should be able to make some type of provision that head coach and them AD positions become African American positions as well, qualified African American positions.
Coach, I appreciate you sharing this, and this is so much awareness right now here on the show. There's no reason that a great coach, two-time champion, LC Cole, you telling me, and not just because this family and your brother and things like that, but he went out and did it on the field. And now you telling me that this man can't go, not because he's not qualified. It's just because of the simple fact, I don't even have to say no more. I mean, let's just be honest. It's a systematic design, just like it's a systematic design. It's always been to violate individuals of color. It's been in place since the beginning of history and time. And a lot of things that are happening now. And then when you look at it, now they hiring Deion Sanders, and you got Eddie George, and you got a lot of coaches that are coming from professional ranks that come in here. But a lot of that have seemed, and that, okay, they're going to have some success. Deion's getting incredible players. You got Eddie, but they coming in with the celebrity. But you didn't pay your dues. LC didn't paid his dues. They did it on the field, obviously, but not. And well, Eddie George a little different because I think that's where he's from and different things like that. Maybe, and it might be more of a really something for him there. But I mean, these coaches, that's something that's coming into the way now too, that they look like they're going out to hire these guys in a public relation aspect and bring them in from higher ups, and then boom, but I think, I don't know, that could just, I don't know how long that trend is going to last either.
Well, like I said, my brother, is the only modern day black college coach to win an all white conference. And now he's coaching at Allen University, a small school out in South Carolina. And, you could tell by his pedigree that he don't coach mascots. He like to coach kids. And
Yeah.
that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But, the unfairness of, and then, living in the South and living in the North is different. It's our mindset. It's just like busing. It's just like busing. It's just like not taking anything away from Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all them. We were fighting for equality, and
Yeah.
I get that. And then we want to fight for busing, and I get that. And David, and any black person in my age group know that was the worst thing ever happened to us. You
Yes,
know,
it was.
what equity is, David, to me? Give me
Mhm.
a check.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about reparation right now. Give me a check. This country was built off of non-labor. This was built
Yes.
our ancestors back. And before I go a step further, and if that happens, if we're blessed to see that, to get a check, I'm gonna take my check happily. And guess what, David? I don't care what you do with your check. If you want to go buy 5 Cadillacs, rims, we deserve it. Our
Yeah.
ancestors deserve it. Because here's the other thing that people don't understand about slavery. It ain't the punishment and everything that they done to our ancestors. That was stress. And what were the main stressors killers today? It's stress. So
Yes.
all those babies, our mothers and stepmothers, we still got them genes of stress. You know what I'm saying? They wonder why a man gets stopped, a black man gets stopped, and he take off running. because he don't have $200 for a stoplight ticket
Absolutely not.
or the wrong plate. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely,
All
coach.
rest, we deserve it. You got Herschel Walker running around here. Like Malcolm X says, that he's like a fruit that fell from the tree and no roll so far away from the tree that he's gone. He's gone. So I believe in reparation. When I look at where we are as blacks, we're making strides. Believe me, it's good turning on the TV now, and we're moving. We going. You know what I mean? So I'm with the progress, but it should be more progress. We need to get at the table, and I'm talking to other black college coaches as well. If you see my show, we need to get at the table with some, not with us. We already know the problem. We need to get at the table with the NCAA, Congress, some attorneys, and talk about the unfairness. These guys are making millions and millions of dollars. You got coaches right now in black college that's actually sleeping in their office because they still paying them 45, 55, $60,000 that they can't even go get a place to live. But they are great coaches. The SWAC conference, the SWAC and MEAC got more Hall of Famers than most of the Division 1A conferences. I think we ranked like third, second, or third in Hall of Famers. Well, somebody had to coach them.
Yes.
Black coaches coach them.
Yes.
I don't mean to ramp and go off
No, coach. Listen,
side,
ain't
but
no time frame here with me. You doing your thing. This is knowledge that you giving to the world. Because remember, this is YouTube. We talking Twitter. We talking Pinterest, Facebook. This is going out. This needs to be. You have to be here in the present now to let it be known. Absolutely.
yeah, and it's unfair, and I don't have a racist bone in my body. I love people.
Me
But if I see a kid getting mistreated unfairly, then I'm gonna step in, and that's what I'm saying, and we as blacks, we fight for those little jobs. And Dion, sometimes when I hear, I keep up with his progress, and sometimes I feel frustrated about people against him. He's got to understand that he jumped the line.
Yeah.
And I think he does. And you jump the line. So when you jump the line, there's gonna be some criticism behind that. You know what I'm saying? And the expectations there. But and I don't ever want him to forget that, yeah, he's doing a great job, but Jackson State has always been Jackson State. When on my team at Texas Southern, I had 40 transfers. So that ain't new. It's just that it's social media. And it ain't about Dion's coaching. It's about Dion when he was a player. Phenomenon. I would put him in the Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens, Edward Moses, category. This dude was probably one of the best athletes in the world in the history of sports. And his persona is second to none. So I give him all that, but I just don't ever want him to make HBCU looks like he came in and he's the Messiah, because he's not. He's not the Messiah. You had great coaches, Henry Nicks. You had Jay Gaithers. You had Bill Hayes. You had Big House Gaines. It's just so many of them that have came through, man, and fought that fight. You know what I'm saying? And we can't ever let that go. Like we started earlier in the show, to go forward. You can't forget the history, man.
Exactly. You can't forget it.
Because that means you start over. See,
Yeah.
and then now he come with all this. Well, I'm telling the kids to go to class. Shit, Eddie Robertson had a 98% graduation rate. LC Cole had a 96 graduation rate. You know what I mean? And coached some great ones. So you can't say that, oh, well, I'm getting the field done. Shit, I remember myself at Lane College, I landed my own field. I graded it, laid seed, painted it, and had it ready. Built lockers, you know what I mean? So there's some coaches out there that has done some great things, some black coaches, and it's unfair. And I hope, and I'm not talking about white folks. We need to get us together. Our
Yeah.
code, it's
Yeah.
cold. We
Hey,
got some
coach.
men.
And then I want to also come in on that and flip it too. It's the same thing, and it's just not a football. And that's why it's personal. It's in basketball too. Let's give a shout out right now to Coach Cleo Hill Jr. When you mentioned Winston-Salem State, he's the head coach there. He was on my show here recently, and wonderful coach, right? You talk about big house games. From 1977 to 1985, Dr. Douglas Covington, rest in peace, my uncle, right? He was the president of Winston-Salem State. He told me, David, come on down here and play for big house games. I'm telling you, Earl to Pearl Monroe, I visited school, I know all about the history. Right. Me being so naive, thinking nothing but PWI at the time, like I know they producing, and they didn't. Winston-Salem State didn't put out about 6, 7 NBA players, and I'm like, I look back, I'm like, wow, that's why I'm so passionate about telling the kids go where the best fit is for you. He was also the president at Tuskegee Institute, by the way, Cheney State, PA, Alabama A&M, and before he passed, he changed the culture at Radford University here in Virginia. But basketball, it's the same way. Coach Robert Jones at Norfolk State, why he ain't getting no calls back-to-back NCAA tournaments. Coach Buck Joyner down here where I'm at, Hampton University, a phenomenal coach, right? Lavelle Moten, phenomenal coach over there at North Carolina Central. It's the same way. They're not getting these opportunities, and it's just, it's just sad.
Well, if I could say something to the high school kids that's coming out, first of all, this portal they got, this NCAA portal, are putting a whole bunch of high school kids out of some scholarships.
That's why I'm doing the recruiting service.
So
keep going.
Second of all, if you take some visits, you make sure if you get 5 visits, or you make sure that at least 2 of those visits are to a HBCU school. And here's the thing. See, when you go to those PWI schools, they make a weekend for you. Make sure we have the Black School Union giving them the black party and taking them over. Mm-hmm. But when you go to a HBCU school, you ain't got to set up nothing new because the school is built for you. You know what I mean? The teachers are built for you. The fan base. And then here's the other kicker. And I tickle with my brother who played at the University of Nebraska, who don't ever go back because he can't go back. I mean, he could go back, but who knows him? Right. I back today. I can go back tomorrow, and I guarantee the student body knows who I am. And of course, I'm a little different because I coached there and everything, but I've been going back, man, for 30 years and having a great time at homecoming. And I'm introduced to the president, and I know, people that I can call if I need something done. Years later, and that's what some of these high school kids don't look at, nor the parents. They look at, I'm going to the NFL, I'm going to the NBA. Guys, and if you could do this with your kids, I want you to take a basketball and fill it up with air, make it nice and then I want a piece of paper because that's my degree. And I want one guy, while you talk to him, stand on the piece of paper, and I want the other guy to stand on the basketball. And let's see who be standing after you get through talking. And so you tell him, see, he stood on the degree. That's why he went to school. You went there for basketball. Look how you falling off the ball and you can't stand up. Well, that's what it is. So what you want to do? You going to stand on that degree that you can take with you the rest of your life? Because that's ball, you're not going to do that. Wow. So those are the type of things that I do when I go talk to kids, or like I told you earlier, I coached the AAU basketball team and
just championship.
I took them to Miami, Florida. Matter of fact, we was raising money on the corner, and I know my nephew Norris too,
absolutely,
which is a man, just an outstanding man. Made sure that that financially we didn't need nothing when we went down to Florida. So and I'm not gonna lie, David, I thought we was just gonna, because my son was on the team. And I don't know if you remember, we used to work out at Linden Center playing for Mr. Powell. He
Yeah.
took us to Denver, Colorado to play ball. And we went out there, man, and got our butts handed to us. And I'm thinking, well, let me go to Florida AAU. They had all the big names there. And let me go there. And I know we're going to get it handed to us. And we actually, we started in April. We went out there in July. We actually won the Division II championship out there. And I can't say enough about those kids. And if I was proud of one coaching time in my life, that was it. Taking kids out of the community. I wasn't buying kids and flying kids from all over. I took them out to community, and we practiced and we got good at it, and we was able to win. So I would tell kids to come out, man. You need to check it out, because this day and time, everybody play on TV. Everybody. Yes. You're going to play on some channel. You're going to stream and you're going to play. So, and what y'all don't understand is scouts don't watch TV. They look at what you're doing at the university, and they come see you with their eyes. So playing on TV don't get you an NFL.
Listen, guys, are you listening? I'm going to make 2 points for those that are listening. Coaches, parents, fans. Listen. Coach stated that a high school phenom that may be coming up out of Texas or Ohio or anywhere in the country, here in Virginia, these kids are being overlooked now because of the transfer portal. It's a fact. Long as you can say that you played 1 year somewhere at a college, more than likely you've been pushed behind. Since the coronavirus going on now, maybe almost 2.5 years or so. Listen, you have some kids that went into college, was a medical red shirt. Then the second year he came back, corona hit. So that's 2 free years, right? Kids are being in school for 5 and 6 years now, and these young kids are being pushed behind. That's why I'm doing my recruiting service to help these kids get into school. Like Coach said, you need to look at these HBCUs. And I'm not just sitting here talking about it. I'm going to be about our call, Coach Cole. Listen, is there anything you can do to help? Okay. And if you're valid and you're an athlete and you really want to get in school somewhere, the people that we're talking about, what Coach Cole is saying, he's willing to help you. This is what he's about. And these are what the coaches and the people that come on my show that we give love and flowers to, this is what they're about. So we don't want those seniors pushed behind. The second point I wanted to make, I'd be remiss if I did not mention, I wanted this to mainly be about you, but your nephew, for blessing you and allowing you to go up there and win the championship. And Norris Cole. Is Norris a 1-time or 2-time, I think, NBA champion, isn't he?
2-time NBA champion. He's a 3-time international champion, and he's a 2-time state high school champion. He don't do nothing but win, Coach.
He don't do nothing but win. I remember when he went to Cleveland State, right? I was like, that's a good fit for him. People don't know. That was a great fit for him. And like a lot of people would think, well, okay, he come out of Dunbar. Why don't he just stay closer? No, he was at home in Ohio, but that Cleveland State and the Horizon League had really done him well. Went on to a phenomenal career. We just want to shout out your nephew.
Well, he's a classical type that these kids need to listen to. He was headed to Walsh College. He had one scholarship to an NAIA school. My brother called me on the phone and said, man, because they're Christians, and if they give you a word, they like to stay. And my old called me, his dad, and said, look, Cleveland State is coming in. That's the only scholarship he had. He said, what do you think? I said, man, look, they get paid to recruit players. Unfortunately for Walsh, Cleveland State is a better fit for what we want for Little Norris. And the rest is history. He had one scholarship. And guess what? He got drafted in the first round by the Miami Heat, the 30th pick. That's all you need. It ain't where you and Cleveland State. Who knows Cleveland State? You know, it ain't bigger than Ohio State. It ain't bigger than Michigan State. But he got drafted in the first round over Ohio,
Absolutely.
Michigan State kids, UCLA kids, Duke kids, North Carolina kids, and he went
Well,
on to have
Norris will now go down in history as one of the greatest that ever played there. You guys, you listening? Up there with the Mouse McFaddens of the world at Cleveland State, and it's other players, but he's one of the best that ever did it. We want to give him a shout out. And all the fine accolades and going overseas as well. And like you say, winning championships. All he does is win. Just like the Coles, that's all y'all do is win.
Here's the other real fact that when I was a recruiter for HBCUs, that I would go into the house. I said, first of all, ask your mother, who does she deal with? Yeah, she might work with white folks, but her social circle is black.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up dealing with black folks. That's just how life is. Not saying that don't, but that's how life is. Number one. Number is if you go to the PWI and you don't graduate, are you gonna have the money to go back and finish? And I know the NCAA said, well, we'll come and pay for your last year. What if you go pro early and don't fan out? Then what? Are you willing to be from Dayton and you go to school out in Colorado? Do you want to go back out there after you don't make pro ball to go to school?
Right.
Or to go to some HBCU school where the money it costs less to go. You know everybody around there. You know what I mean? You feel comfortable being around it. You know, that's what you got to think. Okay, then what about when you do graduate? And like I told you earlier about my brother, he ain't hightailing it to Nebraska.
Right.
You know what I mean? He might come down to Texas Southern and enjoy it way better than Nebraska.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing like coming back to a black college homecoming. You gonna meet, I know pharmacists, I know lawyers, I know doctors that I went to school with. I mean, on a personal level. You know, they ain't looking at me like I'm some jock. They looking at me. We was in the dorm together, you know, looking for quarters and nickels in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, that's what black college do for you. You know what I'm saying? You know these people for the rest of your life. And I ain't talking about knowing them through them just seeing you as a player, knowing them through we was in the struggle together in the dormitories.
Absolutely.
You know? So that's the thing that you got to get those kids and those parents to understand why it's important to go to HBCUs.
Coach, you've been out of coaching for how long now? 7, 8 years?
It's about 7 years. You know,
honestly, with this problem that we talking about that exists, with this systematic, you know, just preference over one than the other. Are you, if the right call, would you go back and coach, or do you seem, because I know that you're doing now you're the athletic facility manager, I believe, out in Fort Worth or Houston. Is that giving you the satisfaction, or is it something going through your stomach? And I know you got your TV show, but is it something in there, that a fire that if the right position open up that you would take?
I got the fire in my belly. There's no question that I want to coach, and I want to coach again. But I'm also understand where I'm at in my life and what's important. And what's important is my kids and making sure they develop and move forward. So it's got to be the right situation. You know, I'm in a good retirement plan as well, being in the state of Texas. So it's more about being the right situation. And at my age and my knowledge and what I have, I'm not starting over again. I've had some opportunities to work, but I'm not. I don't. You know, I'm not. I don't deserve that. I know if I was a white guy, you know, I can imagine where I would be at. But I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm where God has me at, and I understand that. And if I can continue to reach out and help people, as long as I'm doing that, you know, The job is a good job because it keeps me around the game. It keeps me sharp about the game. It keeps me close to kids, which I love, and watch them develop. So I'm in a win-win situation. I'm where I'm supposed to be, and if the good Lord provide another avenue that to put me back on the sideline, it wouldn't be no question that I would go back. But it's got to be the right thing.
Gotta be the right thing. Y'all heard it right there. Coach, before we end, man, I appreciate this. Has been so much fun. Just want to have a little fun with you right now. Tell me about something like when people give them that excitement. When you reach in some of the highest level at the of football and or basketball in an HBCU, right? Uh, what about the Bayou Classic? Have you ever attended the Bayou Classic?
I've coached in the Bayou Classic with Pete Rich for 3 years straight, 75,000 ecstatic.
Ah,
I've coached in the first black college football game on January the 1st, Southern University against South Carolina State. We beat them 11-6 to win the national championship. Uh, and the game was in Georgia where the Peach Bowl was. I've coached in the Circle City Classic.
I was gonna ask about the Circle City.
I've coached in the Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis. I've coached in the Labor Day Classic in Houston. I coached in the Magic City Classic in Birmingham. Um, one of the greatest games I've coached was the Turkey Day Classic, Alabama State and Tuskegee. It's one of the oldest classics in college. And I mean, that game was so intense. It was impossible. I mean, it was sweat, it was blood, it was tears, it was intense. I've coached in the OVC championship game, the first conference championship the Tennessee State ever won. And we end up blocking a field goal with no seconds left, beating them 46-44. Uh, my biggest feat and as a head coach was defeating Grambling in Houston, Texas, to go on to the championship game where we won in 2010, and we were down 34-19 at halftime. And I can remember it sprinkled a little bit, and I call it the football gods. And I got my football team together and said, we're beating ourselves, and we're gonna win this football game. And we ended up beating Grambling in overtime, 41-37, something like that in overtime. And beating Rod Broadway, who was a great coach, went over at North Carolina A&T and T and win a couple national championships. So, I beat some great people. I beat Pete Richardson. I beat Broadway. I beat, you said his name earlier, Kamaji, several times.
Coach
Uh,
Collins, he's Rick. Mm-hmm.
I beat some great coaches. I think one of my best coaching jobs is taking over at Lane College.
Mm-hmm.
They had a winning season in like 20 years, and going back, I went back to back with winning football seasons. So I had a great time. I've coached a guy got drafted third round named Jacoby Jones, and I was
Yes.
part of his success. It's just a rewarding when you get calls like yourself, David. This was a rewarding call to say that we appreciate what you've done,
We
and that's
do.
what it is. I get a lot of calls from my former players, thanking me for being in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And some people leave this earth and leave this world
Yes.
not contributing,
Yes.
and it's not a bad thing because some people just ain't in the contribution uh, way. So that's why I take it to heart what I do and the time and effort that I put into it. That I'm for help developing in young people, help developing and making this world great.
And I appreciate you so much for being on the show. It's been a phenomenal interview. It's been a phenomenal abundance of knowledge shared. I want to be a part with my voice from a small platform to wherever. I think our voice and our memories, no matter what, shall carry on. I believe the individual spirit, once they're departed from this world, it still lives. That's why I'm paying homage to those right now and those who have went on before us. We can't forget, because that's what happened. If we sit back now, 15, 10 years from now, what are we going to say? Are these kids going to even be thinking about HBCUs at all if we don't say something? And that's not going to be the narrative, not with me. It's not going to be the narrative with you, Coach. And, we're going to get together, because I'm willing to do anything I can to help these young kids and help these kids get in school. And that's what it's all about. You're on the same page as me. You listen, kids, listen to Coach. Start looking at these schools. They're phenomenal institutions, high academic standing, trust me. And they want you to get the best out of life. Yes, I know you want, let me say this too. We want you to make it to the NBA. We want you to make it to the NFL. But if you don't, you got to have a degree to fall back on. You got to have something to fall back on. Right, Coach?
Ain't no question. And, you got to know how to spend the money.
Yes.
Got to know how to delegate and find out who's coming at you. 75% of the NFL players, 5 years after they play are broke or bankruptcy or divorced, and in the NBA as well. Easy come, easy go. I mean, we've seen it all of our lives, and, I tell the kids all the time that, if you're smoking, you become a smoker. If you mess with dope, you become a dopehead. If you drink a lot, you become an alcoholic. Well, if you go to school and be in education, you become, an educator.
Yes.
And that's gonna take you a lifetime. Like you said, I didn't have to use my degree, my master's, until I got the position I'm in now. I got my master's way back. And 20 years later, I needed it to be qualified for the position I'm in. Your education is going to take you further than you ever. You can't work forever. Like, my nephew right now, he's turning in his 30s and he's coming to the end of his career. And let's say he go to 35. Well, God, the good Lord gives you 70. So what you going to do for the other 35 years?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be, you just got to close your eyes and look down and listen to the people around you that's been there, that's done it.
But having an uncle like you,
yeah,
and the rest of your brothers around, I'm quite sure that Norris has had that tutelage, because with him being a lot younger, right?
Yes.
He's got you guys to look at as examples. So we're not even going to get into what he's doing in terms of his finances, but I can guarantee you, being a Cole, he ain't been stupid with his monies. And that is a phenomenal situation. In fact, being from Dayton, Ohio, we know it's a success story because of those who have been so successful and sort of went by the wayside, whether it be to the streets or what have you. So, Norris Cole, we salute you as well, nephew. And I'm a matter of fact, I just want to also say this. Where is he playing now? Is he still overseas?
No, matter of fact, I think I know he's back now, but yes, he's still playing overseas. But it would be remiss if I didn't say about my other nephew, Trent Cole, as well. Trent Cole, Philadelphia Eagles, now retired. And matter of fact, Trent has farms that also help feed the country. So, he's doing very well financially. He has 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, and he's doing great as well.
Yeah, man. Shoot, who don't remember Trent Cole? I mean, this Cole family, I mean, the list goes, like I said, y'all see why we just kicking it. It go on and on. This is a Dayton, Ohio, phenomenal. You don't want to just say, I mean, they're good people, but from Dayton, we say that they're a sports family, and no disrespect, but it's just produced so many great athletes, and for so many decades, a lot of Daytonians got an opportunity to either go heads up against the Coles or to be teammates with the Coles. And however the experience was, whether you was a teammate, whether you were a foe, it doesn't make a difference. They made an impact, I can guarantee you, on your life. And man, it's just phenomenal for you to be here. We're going to have to chop it up again. You know, I got you right here on speed dial. We're going to be talking. I want to help get these kids in school, and I'm going to be using my resources. I tell everybody who comes on my show, you know, I don't bug nobody. That's a good thing about me. I've always been a great networker. But when it comes time and I have someone and they saying, listen, I'm serious and I want to get in school, you know, I pick that phone up. We're going to see what we can do. And I know you about the walk and not just about the talk. Is there anything else that you'd like to say? Say something so they would know one more time about your podcast. I'm sorry, your TV show.
Yeah, I I know a whole bunch of coaches, and I send players out. And number two, on Monday, I'm gonna do my TV show is about my family. So I'm gonna have all my brothers on the show. It starts at 12, and we're gonna go to the 1 o'clock. All 9 of my brothers, or not all 8 of my brothers, will be available to be on the show. So we're gonna chop it up, and we're gonna talk about overtimes and when one stole your sock and the other one put your underwear on and all that old craziness.
Coach, tell them though, what that's Central Time where you at. So let the people know too, in Virginia and Ohio, that's gonna be 1 o'clock our time.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. It'll be 12 noon Central. It'll be 1 o'clock over in Ohio, and it'll be 11 o'clock. No, let me take that. It'll be 10 o'clock West time.
Okay.
So 12 noon Central Time, Pacific Time. It'll be 1. It'll go from 1 to 2, or Central my time. It'll be from 12 to 1. And
is that coming up? It's coming up this Monday, right?
It's coming Monday.
I'm gonna give them the date.
Oh, YouTube HBCU Str8 with the coach Johnnie Cole.
Absolutely, y'all. Wait a minute. That's gonna be actually Monday, June 20th. Okay.
20th.
Monday, June 20th. Everybody tune in. Man, listen. That's going to be, you already know, Coach. Make sure y'all acknowledge me. I'm going to be out there. Hey, David Mitchell. Coach Dave, what's going on? I'm hollering at all y'all.
I sure will. Man, I can't say enough, David. This world need more people like you. Keep doing your work, man. Keep the balance. Our legs, our kids is our future. It's just like recruiting. Recruiting is the legs of any program. And our kids is the legs of our future. Appreciate you. Can't say enough, about this interview and that you took time out, to hear from an old guy like me, talk about, the great people that helped me become who I am.
Appreciate you being here, y'all. Appreciate the fans and people that we can't see that's out there watching, coaches, players, and parents. Hope you learned something today. That's one thing we always strive to do, is straight from the source, right? Coach Cole, I'm going to let you get back. A pleasure meeting my little nephew today. And listen, if he never plays football or anything, as long as he getting that, already he's getting A's and he sounds so smart and intelligent at 9.
I'm going to teach him how to own a team.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. Why not? Because there's not enough black owners. Why not? That my little nephew comes up and be one of the top owners out here. Oh my gosh, that would just be phenomenal. Another coach. And the weirdest thing, y'all, listen, keep them in prayer. Keep the family. We believe in that. Listen, everything they touch seems to turn to gold. You just spoke it out his mouth. Your words are powerful. Little nephew, little Cole, the 9-year-old Johnny's son, may end up, in fact, Let's speak it into existence. He gonna be an owner of something, whatever he wants to own.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
For sure.
We're
Thanks for being here, Coach. And we're gonna go ahead and let you go now. But you know I will be in touch. My Dunbar Wolverine family, we appreciate you. The whole DPS, Dayton Public School family, we appreciate you. Houston, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. People from all around the country know going to be watching this in the rebroadcast. You see it right here on Facebook. You can catch it right here on YouTube. You can catch it on Pinterest, and you can catch it on Twitter. Coach Johnnie Cole, HBCU, 42 years in the game. Absolute legend. Appreciate you being here, and I'm going to be in touch with you soon. Stay right there in the back room so I can close you out officially goodbye. Stay right there, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, we'll let you know. We'll keep you updated on when the next podcast show will be airing. You know, I've always got wonderful guests, and I'm going to have some fantastic information for you. Really appreciate you tuning in. I believe you're going to be enlightened from this show when you watch it, if you watched it now or the rebroadcast. Appreciate you guys for chiming in. Nothing but love, nothing but flowers here. Love my Dunbar Wolverine people, man. We appreciate you guys chiming in, and we appreciate you supporting everything that we're doing out here. Y'all take care. God bless.